The National Committee protested President Trump's plans to accept a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar by flying a banner over Mar-a-Lago reading Qatar-a-Lago. It's the kind of hilarious stunt that makes you realize why the Democrats will never win again.
Donald Trump came in and he was like, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna totally de-escalate this situation. And we were like, my man, you've never de-escalated a thing in your life. From your hair to your politics, nothing is a de-escalation.
Democrats released an email written by Jeffrey Epstein in which he claims that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls. It's bombshell news that legal experts are calling duh. This week's Epstein documents are obviously very dark and disturbing, but I also think it's kind of adorable that Epstein's email address was jeevacation@gmail. It's like if Jeffrey Dahmer's was dinnertimejeff at Yahoo. A mobile McDonald's truck for President Trump's visit featuring Saudi Arabia's most popular new burger, the McJournalist.
President Trump, while on his trip, said that Iran has sort of agreed to terms for a nuclear deal in the same way Trump has sort of agreed to uphold the Constitution.
Before the laughter cooled, Trevor stepped in with the swagger of someone who came prepared to file a comedy insurance claim for property damage.
Trump came in and he's like, I don't like how Iran and Israel are launching bombs at each other all the time. So many bombs. We can't have this. It's not right. We got to fix it. And they're like, all right, how are you going to fix it? He's like, by dropping bombs. No one expected it. Like the whole world was like, okay, Trump is going to mediate or he's going to, because he said to them, hey, guys, let's sort this out. Peace deal. We're going to do a peace deal. And then he dropped bombs on Iran. Everyone in the world was like, what the hell?
You know, in general, I don't really believe in conspiracies because as a member of the Illuminati, I know that we, the lizard people, control everything. And it's really hard to believe that Trump was so oblivious that he didn't notice his good friend was running an international pedophile ring. Though I guess Trump is the one guy on earth who thinks YMCA is a straight anthem.
The reason I say this is because Trump came out and he hosted a press conference about dropping the bombs. And he was shocked in the press conference. He came out and he's like, the United States military, that's us, launched missiles, bunker busters on Iran, on all their nuclear facilities. And boy, you don't understand. Never seen bombs like that before. And I called. I'm the one who called. I said, drop the bombs. I didn't know I was going to call. And then I was on the plane. Then I said, I'm calling. Drop the bombs. And the bombs were dropped.
In the past 2 days, investors have lost over $6 trillion. Money is leaving the stock market faster than Morgan Wallen at goodnight. President Trump even imposed tariffs on remote islands that are only inhabited by penguins. Well, then maybe penguins shouldn't keep pushing their gay agenda.
Trevor added to it by depicting Trump's press conferences like reality show reunion episodes, the kind where everyone pretends things are normal while chaos waits behind the curtain, sharpening its nails. He didn't even mimic a voice. The mental image alone sent ripples of laughter through the room. Then both comedians took things into pure roast legend territory. Colin suggested that Trump makes decisions like someone who thinks reading the first page of a book automatically makes them an author. Trevor countered with a metaphor about Trump treating facts like gym memberships. He likes the idea of them, but the commitment just never happens. Back and forth, not as a conversation, but as escalating comedic artillery. No one was safe. Not Trump's hair, not his tan, not his fashion choices, not his interviews. Colin insinuated that his hair might actually be a sentient being working a 9-to-5 shift, clocking out at night, and filing paperwork for better working conditions. Trevor expanded on that by describing Trump's appearance as a man trying to cosplay as a power using the world's most confused stylist. Every line was another detonation. Each punchline is immediately topped by the next. Colin's pacing was like someone speed-running sarcasm trophies. Trevor's rhythm was like a comedian conducting a symphony made entirely of political absurdity.
Donald Trump has exposed a part of America that I'm willing to bet nobody knew existed. Nobody. Like, did you know about a special master? Any of you? Huh? I didn't even know there was an option. I've watched 10 million hours of Law & Order. I know about subpoenas. I know about breaking the chain of custody, objection sustained, overruled, sidebar in my chambers, but not once have I heard the term special master. But once again, thanks to Trump, because of his hard work and dedication to doing crimes, we've all learned something new today. And I say thank you, Mr. President.
Eventually, the roast evolved into a comedic timeline of Trump's entire public life. Colin highlighted the early days, the era when Trump treated fame like a blanket he refused to wash, yet insisted on flaunting everywhere. Trevor transitioned to the business stage, describing it with a level of irony usually reserved for explaining how a raccoon becomes a mayor. Then came the political era, which both comedians depicted as the moment the universe collectively checked its warranty and realized it had expired. The crowd was wild for it, and the best part? The comedy never dipped into cruelty. It sat comfortably in that arena where honesty, sarcasm, and delivery merge into pure entertainment. Trump wasn't destroyed because the jokes were mean. He was destroyed because the jokes were accurate. Colin wrapped a section by summarizing Trump's legacy using metaphors involving inflatable bounce houses, malfunctioning GPS systems, and motivational posters peeling off high school walls. Trevor wrapped his portion with comparisons to talent shows where contestants don't realize the judges stopped paying attention 3 acts ago. But the comedy avalanche wasn't done. They moved on to Trump's interviews. Colin framed them as dramatic stage plays where only one character knows there's an audience. Trevor said they feel like someone trying to win an argument with reality itself, and reality is losing patience.
Well, America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses. I love that you can intentionally ruin the economy and still get to stay president. It's like if you drunk drove your car through the window of the DMV and they were like, license renewed. It's insane. This was the worst week for the stock market since the summer of 2020. But you have to remember, back then, the president was also Trump.
They dug into Trump's need for attention. Not aggressively, just observationally, like a scientist watching a peacock fighting its own reflection in a car window. Every layer of insecurity, bravado, confidence, and self-promotion served as joke fuel, and they had enough to light up the comedy skyline. Trevor even hinted that Trump thinks speeches are like talent show performances where the audience is legally required to clap. Trevor pointed out that Trump acts like criticism is a crime punishable by making the critic watch endless reruns of his rallies. Then came the finale stretch. The comedic energy hit maximum voltage. Colin summarized Trump's essence as a man who believes history will admire him even if he has to personally rewrite it using crayons and glitter glue. Trevor concluded that Trump is the type of guy who thinks destiny is just waiting for him to return its text messages. The audience exploded, not physically, but emotionally. That kind of laughter where people lean forward, clutch their knees, and reconsider every life decision that led them to witness something this funny. No one left the room thinking about politics. They left thinking they'd just watched 2 comedic archaeologists excavate the wildest personality of modern America and display it like a museum exhibit labeled, "Please laugh responsibly." The roast wasn't mean. It wasn't angry. It wasn't bitter. It was art. Comedy at its most polished. Taking a larger-than-life public figure and holding up a funhouse mirror so reflectively accurate it becomes unforgettable.
No, it's called Truth Social, I think. No one cares. Anyway, the point is Trump sent out one of his thingies, I don't know what they're called, and it was like, Trevor Noah was never funny, Jon Stewart was only slightly better, and then like he goes on like a rant and he's just like, these people don't realize if they moved more to the center like me, they would have more followers. Then I'm like, center like you? I'm like, my man, you think you're in the middle? But what was funny was like someone was like, oh, he said that you're not funny, and I was like, yeah, I read that, but I was like, oh, so you were watching that?
If Trump was watching, he probably tried to act unfazed. Maybe he sat there pretending he didn't care, like the whole thing was beneath his attention. Maybe he made notes, circling punchlines like a football coach reviewing game tape, deciding which jokes annoyed him the most. Maybe he paced around the room rehearsing comebacks that would never actually be said out loud. Maybe he even complimented the TV. Not out of gratitude, but because it finally gave him what he secretly loves, airtime featuring someone he considers competition. Who knows what actually happened behind those walls? No one except the man himself. But one thing's certain, sarcasm won that night. Trevor Noah wasn't playing the role of activists or politicians. They didn't step onto that stage with dreams of swaying voters or shaping policy. There was no hidden agenda, no moral crusade disguised as entertainment. They weren't trying to shame anyone into thinking differently or spark a cultural revolution. They showed up as comedians, and they behaved exactly the way comedians are wired to, by taking the most serious, high-stakes subjects in the world and stripping away their intimidation through humor.
I feel like Trump would be exactly the same, even if he spoke Arabic. It would be like the same thing. He'd be like,
بعدك شكرا هلا والليلة بعدك الليلة يلا يلا.
Some people use power to control, some use influence to persuade. Comedians use laughter to expose the truth while making it easier to swallow. Jost and Noah turned the chaos and pressure of modern politics into punchlines, and the audience didn't just laugh, they erupted. They laughed in that uncontrollable, breathless way that makes you forget for a moment how heavy everything has been. They reminded everyone watching that even the most tense moments in history can be punctuated by a well-timed joke. That night wasn't about policy. It wasn't about elections. It was about relief. And they delivered it flawlessly. And that is the beauty of the entire spectacle. Because long after the sound system cooled, long after the stage lights dimmed, long after every social media thread exploded with reactions, the takeaway remained pure. Trump got roasted, flambéed, seasoned, plated, garnished, and served with comedy sauce. Not through insults, not through shouting, not through anger, but through precision. Sarcasm sharper than a diamond-tipped knife. Timing is tighter than elastic on new sweatpants. Confidence is stronger than Trump's belief that he's the main character of global history.